What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it through the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
What's up, guys? Max here, back with another episode of the ScuttleButt Show. What's up to everybody in the chat? What's up, Eviana, Ed, Eric, Beaufort, Killer Boy, John? We've got Alex, Paul, Pedro in the house, and we've got somebody whose name I don't know what it says. I don't know what language that is, but welcome to the chat. It's great to have you here. It's nighttime wherever you are, so thanks for joining us. We have a big show for you guys today. I'm totally sick still, by the way, so forgive my voice or if I have a little cough or something like that. Let me hit you guys a little bit of about yesterday, just to get the show started. So we talked about Stu Scheller yesterday, and the more I think about that Marine Lieutenant Colonel who said he's going to bring the whole system down, the more I feel like he's wrong. The more I feel like he's wrong. I'm going to try to post a video later today on all the reasons why I think that he's wrong. He's making a lot of waves right now. I went out and followed him on LinkedIn, followed him on Facebook, all that stuff. I just think that he's wrong. And I'm going to post, and I think that he probably thinks that he's wrong too. He just doesn't know it. So I'm going to be following up with you guys. And in that video also, doing a little bit of more research. Oh, Buford. Got it. Okay, I'll try to get that right from now on. Sorry about that. So I did some more research on him too, and he said that he was an entrepreneur. And I looked up what he actually makes, and I found his product. He sells something called like the perfect ribbon or something like that, and it means that what it is for your ribbon rack on your uniform, to get your ribbons aligned, to get the E, to get the stars in the first place, all that stuff. He has a little template, a little like formed press thing, and you put your ribbon in there. You press your bronze star, your oak leaf, your clusters, whatever it is that you have on there, and it comes out with the perfect ribbon, so you don't have to go to the exchange to do it. So he says his products are sold in the exchange. We'll see if they continue to be sold in the exchange after this. I have a feeling they won't, unfortunately. But if you guys are looking for a way to enhance your chest piece there, your ribbon rack, maybe you can go check out Stu's perfect ribbon thing. You can find it on his LinkedIn page. I don't remember what it's called, but I'm going to try to post a follow-up video on that later today. I want to say what's up again to everybody, and let me know how you guys are doing out there. It's a big day today because I'm shocked to report, I'm shocked to say that I woke up this morning in Okinawa and I saw that every American has been evacuated, everyone part of the military mission, the evacuation mission to Afghanistan has been removed. Everyone's gone. The evacuation is finished. General McKenzie, who will go down in history as the most humiliated general in my book for just the hands-down single worst quote of all time that we talked about the other day, said that there are still Americans in LinkedIn is super underutilized. If you guys are not on LinkedIn, you're just wasting your own time. You can get your free veteran LinkedIn premium account. So much stuff there. I need to make that video too, actually. So everyone part of the evacuation mission is gone, but they did say Americans do remain in Afghanistan. Up to hundreds of Americans remain in Afghanistan that did not get out, but that the diplomatic mission to continue to get them out, to try to support them, will continue. But they said that even if they stayed for weeks after the August 31st deadline that they agreed upon with the Taliban on, that they still wouldn't be able to get those Americans out. And who's to say that all of those Americans want to leave? I don't know. I just don't know, I guess is what I'm saying. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't know. So you heard they left service dogs, Justin? I did not hear that. That sounds horrible. That sounds unbelievable, honestly. I did not hear that. That would be heartbreaking. That'd be the worst news I've had all day. So we've got some stories to cover today about the moments leading up to the final withdrawal from there, including the U.S. thwarted another attempted ISIS attack in the final hours of Kabul evacuations, and we're going to talk about that drone strike too. So it says here, U.S. forces thwarted 2 Islamic State attacks against troops still evacuating Americans and Afghans from the Kabul airport in the final hours of its 20-year mission, Army Major General Hank Taylor said Monday. So 5 rockets were launched at the airport at 11 p.m. on Sunday by ISIS. 4 of the rockets missed, and with 3 of them landing outside the airport, and 1 of them taken down by a C-RAM or counter rocket artillery and mortar systems. So I don't know where Andrew's at, but he'd be excited to see that the C-RAM was out there working. Andrew in the chat, who always is talking about working on the CRAM. The rockets were the second publicly reported ISIS attack on the airport that they thwarted Sunday. Earlier in the day, U.S. forces conducted an airstrike on a vehicle in Kabul carrying ISIS fighters and explosives. The self-defense strike successfully hit the target near the Kabul airport. Significant secondary explosions from the targeted vehicle indicated the presence of a substantial amount of explosive material. Now, the report from that drone strike is that there were a bunch of civilians killed. In that drone strike because the missile hit the vehicle exploded. The explosion from the vehicle killed members of a family, including children. I think I saw 7 members of a family, and that is horrible. And I talked about this yesterday a little bit. That is horrible. That's sad. It's tragic that happens. That does happen, but it is the choice that the people on the ground have to make between risking potential civilian death and collateral damage, civcas and collateral damage, or allow a car full of explosives and suicide vests to head into a crowd of thousands. So you can accept the risk that you might have civcas and collateral damage, even if the risk is high. Somewhere you say low, medium, high risk. You look at the blast radius of the weapon, the consideration of secondaries, and then you go, okay, what are the actual chances that this is going to affect the people who we can see in the sight picture? And it could have been that once the weapon was away, that the civilians showed up. They could have come out of their house during the 30-second, 45-second flight time of the weapon too. So it's hard to say exactly what the scenario there was. But if you have to choose, if you're the person on the ground and you have to choose potentially thousands of American and Afghans or potentially several civilians as part of a targeted strike against terrorists, what do you do? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you would choose to do. If you were the person on the ground, how do you make that choice? Could you make that choice even? Let me know. So the evacuations continue over the weekend as a slower rate as the military began its withdrawal, moving of its equipment off the airport before the Tuesday deadline. The U.S. evacuated 1,200 people on 26 C-17s since 3 a.m. Sunday. So that's it's Monday night in the United States right now. That's when the time that this article's in reference to. 2 coalition aircraft carried 50 evacuees out of Kabul. The previous week, U.S. and coalition aircraft flew more than 10,000 people out of Kabul each day, which is a lot. In total, U.S. and coalition forces have evacuated more than 122,000 people from Afghanistan since late July, 116,000 of whom were evacuated since August 14th. Most evacuees are Afghans, though 5,400 were Americans. So this marks the end of this article right here, or the beginning of this article. The end of the 20-year mission in Afghanistan is over. The last U.S. military flights leave Kabul. And it says here that the last flights left, they were taking pop shots at them. That ISIS fighters were taking pop shots at the aircraft as they flew their tactical takeoff maneuvers, and they made it out, luckily, safely. Like they said, the CRAM took out a rocket. I wonder if they did leave any systems on the ground, any defense systems on the ground. I wonder what they did leave behind at the airport, because it just seems tough to believe that they got every single last piece of equipment off of the ground there on the last flight. So the last flight, imagine being the last people on the ground, getting off on the last plane, and nobody's pulling security for you anymore, except for the Taliban. That's got to be pretty sketch. That was probably a pretty nerve-wracking moment. I wonder if it was the last 5 or 6 flights were all, Marines or whatever getting on there, all military chalks leaving. American forces have flown their final flight out of Kabul, marking the end of the nearly 20 years in Afghanistan, the top U.S. commander in the region said Monday. The last American troops left Hamid Karzai International Airport in Kabul shortly before midnight Tuesday local time, meeting their August 31st withdrawal deadline that President Joe Biden set and Taliban leaders threatened to enforce. Like I've said in the past, the United States doesn't respond to threats from the Taliban, or at least they haven't in the past, and now maybe they do. I don't know. Sounds like General McKenzie is subverting to the Taliban over there. I'm here to announce the completion of our withdrawal from Afghanistan and the end of our military mission to evacuate American citizens, third country nationals, and vulnerable Afghans. The final U.S. C-17 transport aircraft left Kabul at 11:59 p.m. local time, McKenzie said, noting the flight was now clearing the airspace above Afghanistan as he spoke to reporters at the Pentagon. This withdrawal signifies both the end of the military component of the evacuation, but also the end of the nearly 20-year mission that began in Afghanistan shortly after September 11th, 2001. So it is crazy. They did say that there are Americans left on the ground out there, up to hundreds, and that the military mission is over, but the diplomatic mission continues. At the end of this war, the cost was 2,461 U.S. service members and civilians killed and more than 20,000 who were injured in the war in Afghanistan. McKenzie says, this is General McKenzie, who I've lost all respect. I don't even know him, but I've lost all respect for him based on his comments about the Taliban. Oh, there's Andrew right there. To the 800,000 service members and 25,000 civilians who have served in Afghanistan, and particularly to those families of whose loved ones have been lost or wounded, your service, as well as your comrades and family members, will never be forgotten, he said. Andrew says, General McKenzie sounds like a simp of a general who probably is so old he can't remember being a PL. Yep, absolutely. I agree with you. There's always going to be casualties of war. It's sad. Better 4 or 5 than hundreds. Justin says, Buford says, I couldn't say regarding the drone strike. There are a lot of factors and variables to consider. Justin says, 10,000 a day. That's more than the town I grew up in. I hope they all find a welcoming home here if that's what they'd like. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope that wherever they settle, all the refugees, if that's in the United States or elsewhere, that they are welcome and that they adjust well. It's going to be extremely difficult of a transition to go from living in Afghanistan in villages, serving with American military over there, to bringing your entire family to the United States. That's not going to be an easy transition at all. Not at all. I hope Americans realize how lucky they are to be Americans at a time like this. That's one thing that I hope for sure. And we all try to do our best to make America the country that Afghanis hope it is, if that makes any sense. If you're out there in the United States, try to be the American that the Afghanis think you are. All right? Let's see. If they left the service dogs, I'd be even more pissed. Service dogs are soldiers. Yep. They hanged people off of Blackhawks. Yeah, I saw that on Dan Crenshaw's Instagram this morning. Congressman Dan Crenshaw posted that it was posted a video, said there was in Kandahar that the Taliban was flying a Black Hawk helicopter, hanging a civilian out of the bottom of it, or somebody. I don't know if it was a civilian or Afghan National Army member or what, but hanging them, executing them from the bottom of a Black Hawk, which it's still a sad day for Afghanistan. It's still a really sad day. So the people of Afghanistan are still going to suffer massively under Taliban control. It's going to be really bad for so many people out there, women and children especially. There's a ton of pedophilia. There's a ton of child abuse and a ton of animal abuse. It's just really bad. So there are dark times ahead. I have seen videos. I have seen posts on the news that there is an anti-Taliban militia forming up out of ANA members who don't want to give up the fight. And they're forming up in the north end of the country, I think I saw. We'll see what happens with that. I don't know if you guys saw that too. I don't have much more information on that right now. But there are lots of anti-Taliban groups in the country of Afghanistan. There's definitely not going to be just no resistance whatsoever. I don't think that anybody ever thought that. There will definitely be pockets of resistance. What that will look like or what kind of effects that will have, time will tell there, I guess. This all could have been over back in 2003 or 2002 when we had Osama bin Laden cornered, but then due to ROE, we let him escape into Pakistan. So, yeah, there's a lot of looking back and armchair quarterback we can do on this. Obviously, it's just my opinion and some of my buddies and not the DOD's opinion, but basically, if you're an 06 or higher, no one trusts you. Yeah, very true. We should not be nation building in terrorist-controlled nations. I understand that they got the idea from the Marshall Plan, but then that was unnecessary. Allegedly, the Taliban asked the Prezi to secure Kabul prior to our exit. So, I don't know. What does that mean? To secure Kabul prior to our exit? I'm not sure what you mean. As far as I understand, the Taliban were in control of Kabul after the president fled, and we went in under the agreement that they would allow the United States to occupy the airport through the end of the month. I'm honestly pretty surprised. I think I told you guys I didn't see a way that every American would be out of there by August 31st. I'm pretty surprised that they pulled that off. I mean, just the fact that all the airplanes worked, just the fact that no airplanes broke down over there, that there were no hiccups causing us to be there past August 31st. I'm pretty surprised. We still have 13 Americans who were killed and more wounded, Marines, soldier, and sailor, who were killed over there. And I hope that we continue the press on ISIS in Afghanistan as far as airstrikes and intelligence gathering go. I don't know what we have to gain from doing that except for vengeance and justice, but that's enough in my opinion. You've got the Taliban and ISIS together in Afghanistan unchecked with nobody pushing back against them except for these little like pockets of resistance that I was talking about. But like I said, I don't know what that looks like. So you've got a powder keg of weapons and violent extremists unchecked over there. It just seems like a worst case scenario, like a terrorist apocalypse scenario over there. I don't know what's going to happen with all this. I don't know how ISIS and the Taliban will intermingle over there. If there's going to be turf wars or they're going to have territories that are, allotted. If ISIS is going to pay taxes to the Taliban in exchange for training camps. I don't know what ISIS's mission is going to look like going forward in their mind. Are they going to continue to grow and train people and try to conduct terror attacks around the world out of their new hub in Afghanistan that they're basically being harbored and protected by the Taliban, which seems like what's going to happen? All of that's really bad. So we'll see. I'll address some of these comments here. Let's see. Like, we maintained control until we left. Yeah. Oh, okay. I saw a news headline saying a northern militia captured 7 and killed 85 Taliban today. Yeah, I saw some of that stuff too, Chris. Basically, the Taliban was like, we can't secure the city, but we were like, we will only secure the airport because we get caught with our pants down when the ANA just laid down. Miss you. Hey, AO Nix. Hey, everybody. AO Nixo got promoted to Staff Sergeant in the Marine Corps today, E6. So congratulations to AO. Everyone give AO Nixo a congratulations. Shout out to that Marine Corps Staff Sergeant, badass YouTuber. He's a slow walker. I got to say, AO Nixo is a slow walker. He could walk faster for sure, but he is a Staff Sergeant in the Marine Corps today. So congratulations, bud. I'm happy for you. Do you think that there are secret American elite forces still in Afghanistan? If so, which ones? I don't know, Eric. There could be CIA, something like that. There's still, I don't know, actually. There could still be like CIA stuff, going on, but I don't know anything about it, so I don't know. They fight each other, though, ISIS and Taliban. Well, the thing is, it's not so clear. It's not so clear who fights who, because I'm sure that there are ISIS who are also Taliban and Taliban who are also ISIS and Taliban who support ISIS, and it's not so cut and dry. They are not necessarily the same group, but they're not necessarily always fighting each other either. It's going to look like the Balkans. Regal, what's up, Regal, in the chat? Welcome back. Yeah, congrats, AO Nixo. With every rank, you can walk a little slower. That's really how the Navy looks at it. I used to, when I was in the Navy, when I was like an E1, E2, E3, I used to be like, oh man, look, I can't wait till I'm a chief. You're old, you're fat, you're happy. You don't have to move around so quick. I thought a chief was an old man, like a old retired person, like 80 years old. But then I realized as I got older, a chief's like 33, 34 years old. That's young. I'm 36 now. Yeah, I feel great. I'm athletic and everything is good. So all those fat chiefs were just lazy people. It's like the mafia, guys. AO Nixo is a badass for sure. All right, guys. So we'll talk more about Afghanistan as the weeks and months go on. We'll follow along with what's going on over there. But it's official that the United States military mission in Afghanistan has been declared over for the first time in almost 20 years, almost to the day. It's surreal to think about. Like, we just don't have people in Afghanistan anymore. But we still have people in Iraq. We still have people in other countries throughout the Middle East and Africa and the Pacific. So the war on terror is certainly not over. And Afghanistan is over for now, but with all this stuff with ISIS, we'll see. We will see what happens. The American Marines have pride and benefit from it. They are tough, cocky, sure of themselves and their buddies. They can fight and they know it. General Mark Clark. Thanks, Buford. That's a great quote. The Marines do have a lot of that pride. The Marines do have pride in their service, a lot more than everybody else. That's for sure. What is up? What is the deal with Louisiana? Louisiana just gets smashed by weather. It's sad. There's been one fatality. I've got friends who are posting that their family in Louisiana is struggling right now, that homes have been destroyed. It's not good over there. And I feel if any of you guys are out there or have family in Louisiana, I hope that you're doing well. I wish you guys luck. But over here, we've got Coast Guard, National Guard forces begin rescues and aid in response to Hurricane Ida. So the military is responding. The military and Department of Homeland Security is responding to Hurricane Ida in Louisiana. With much of New Orleans dark and entire swaths of coastal Louisiana without phone service or power as of midday Monday, U.S. Coast Guard members and National Guard units from Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Texas are busy conducting SAR, search and rescue operations, and assessing damage left by Hurricane Ida. As I've mentioned for you guys before, these disaster relief efforts are some of the best work that SAR, rescue swimmers, helo crews get to do as far as doing their job goes, because people are stranded in flooded areas on rooftops and damaged buildings with injuries, with exhaustion, dehydration, you name it, existing health issues, and they need help. And the military, especially these helo crews, are out there finding them and getting them out of there. The Category 4 storm made landfall near Port Fourchon, Louisiana on Sunday, barreling northward with winds of up to 150 miles per hour, while the hurricane weakened to a tropical storm Monday. It left behind flooded roadways, damaged roofs, and down power lines across low-lying coastal areas, including the city of Huma. OMC 499 Super Chat. Wow, thank you so much. Got the, what does that say? The cat or the fox there says number one. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. I love that little emoji there too. That's great. Thank you so much for the Super Chat. It's always great to have you in the chat with us too. So the Coast Guard's out there. They conducted one of the first rescue operations of the storm early Monday, transporting 7 patients from a hospital in Galliano. Louisiana might as well be another country with the way that they talk and the way that they name their cities and everything like that. Governor John Bel Edwards said during a press conference they were able to fly before any other assets could. Bel Edwards said during a briefing for the president, "You probably saw the hospital that had the roof completely taken off yesterday. Your Coast Guard rescued and relocated those patients, and we're very appreciative of that." Oh my gosh, what did I do? What did I do? I just deleted the article. How did I do that? Let's see. We can go right back to it. Here we go. I don't know what that was, you guys. I don't know what I clicked, but I just erased the whole article there from my page. Air crews from Coast Guard Station Cape Cod, Massachusetts, and elsewhere, including North Carolina, Texas, and Louisiana, were deployed to the region ahead of the storm, according to the official Coast Guard social media pages. Bravo Zulu to those guys out there who are doing a great job. There are also 5,300 National Guard members, including 5,000 from Louisiana, according to National Guard spokesperson Wayne Hall. And the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers sent in a team Monday to help restore power, along with Emergency Operations Center personnel to support flood management and response. So bravo Zulu to the Coast Guard and to the National Guard out there who are helping the people in the pathway of Hurricane Ida and rescuing civilians out there who were trapped, stranded, injured in a hospital that had the roof blown off, all that. That's great to see. And it's great to see the military being put to use to help people instead of fight people or defend the Capitol. So that's a great way to see them used on American soil. Bravo Zulu to those guys out there, especially to the rescue swimmers who are out there in the helo crews and the pilots who are risking themselves day after day to go fly dangerous missions into urban areas which have issues like unstable buildings, power lines, unstable structures, fires, gas leaks, all that stuff, and air crewmen who are putting themselves on the ground in these areas to go find those people and get them out of there. So that's a great job. Great work. Proud of those guys out there. I have buddies getting deployed to non-Kuwait locations in CENTCOM. The GWAT ain't over, that's for sure. Yep. Get the Cajun Navy out, Papa says. The E4 Mafia for the Army has been changed to the Corporal Cartel. Nice. Damn, get those coasties for not be DOD. I saw that DHS reference. You got to do it. There's still an E4 Mafia in the Coast Guard because promotions are very different. Let's see. So others may live. Yep, the motto. So others may live. It's very true. the rescue swimmers out there, the air crews really mean it when they say it. So I'm proud of those guys. Very, very good job to them out there. And to Justin, who's a rescue swimmer and buddy of mine and always in the chat, good work. Bravo, Zulu. That's a great code to live by so others may live. Very honorable. And that's kind of what everyone was living by in Afghanistan the last couple of weeks, right? On those humanitarian missions where they were out there putting their lives on the line, putting their well-being on the line to go rescue Afghan civilians and people who the United States owed a debt to get as many as possible out. It's just true, you know? The United States promised those people a better future in exchange for their cooperation with Americans. And plenty of people on the ground who are boots on ground, like actually over there doing the work, know those Afghanis and wanted to help them. And so I'm sure that there was no hesitation to go over there and do that mission. I thought the Coast Guard was Semper Paredes. I don't know. Is that true or is this a trick? Am I being tricked? I'm going to Google it. I'll Google it. Don't think I won't. Don't think I won't. Semper Paredes means always ready. Sometimes shortened to Semper P. It is for the Coast Guard. That is true. I thought I was going to Google it and it would be something like always butt stuff. Always butt stuff. Coast Guard. And then you're going to trick me. And I would say it. I would say Semper Paredes. And then everyone would go, LOL, you said it. You got him to say it. Like, who's D's? D's who? You know? You guys know how that one ends. All right. Sorry, super sick still. So we've got a couple other stories today. We've got one fun one here for you guys. I've got one fun one here for you guys. We'll have a good time with this one. Although it's not fun for the people involved, it's fun for us to always bash on the Army for the horrible way that they treat their people. So to our soldiers out there in the chat, Andrew, John, and everybody else who might be tuning in from the Army, here we go. This one's for you guys. Unjust actions. Army illegally denied housing allowance to reservists and wrongfully investigated them, the board finds. This is the absolute epitome of Army leadership right here. The U.S. Army violated federal law by refusing to pay dual housing allowances to reservists on assignment in Europe and erred by taking disciplinary actions against them, a review board said in a ruling that also recoups a total of $500,000 for 7 soldiers. The decision Friday by the Army Board for the Correction of Military Records could have ramifications for numerous other troops and cost the Army millions more. So in other words, the Army was withholding benefits from troops who were on orders in Europe, reservists, and then when they said, hey, I think we're supposed to be getting this money that you guys aren't giving us, they sent them to captain's mast or court-martial. Army finance officials' decisions that gave rise to the investigative and disciplinary actions were erroneously executed and erroneously implemented. It says here that somebody in the old admin had a good idea how to save money. How did they have that idea? They just said, oh, let's just not pay the troops their benefits. That would save us a ton of money, wouldn't it? And then we can go waste it on fraudulent contracts and waste and abuse. Huh? What do you think, sir? Is that a good idea? Hey, great job, specialist. We're going to promote you to staff sergeant right away because that's a great way to save a few bucks. Save $500,000, which the military spends in fuel on every flight that a helicopter goes on or a jet goes on. A federal court had ordered the board to consider cases of the reservists who sued the Army in 2018. Patrick Hughes, a former Air Force attorney, now with the Patriots Law Group, said the Army owes about $500,000 in compensation for the denied payments and the debts the reservists incurred. Hughes said the next step is to obtain payouts for other soldiers who were ensnared by the Army's faulty interpretation of regulations. He is preparing a wider class action case against the Army that could have tens of millions of dollars at stake. This is so crazy. And at issue in the case was a contention by Army finance officials in Europe that reservists who mobilized from the U.S. weren't entitled to basic housing allowance for their American residents and an overseas housing allowance if the Army could not provide on-post accommodations. For years, reservists received dual allowances when mobilized, unlike active duty troops who move with their household goods. Reservists generally are activated for shorter assignments and must maintain 2 households if the Army can't provide base housing. But in 2016, Army finance officials in Europe changed their interpretation of the federal joint travel regulation. As a result, reservists received only 1 allowance, and the erroneous interpretation led the Army to take multiple unjust actions, the board said when detailing the case of Major William Colin Schenck in its ruling. So this was Army finance officials in Germany who came up with a half-cocked idea to save money is where this comes from. That idea ended up getting endorsed by Army G1, and there you are, Hughes said, referring to the Army's highest level personnel office. So they just said, screw you, good luck. You're going to lose your home in the United States because you're over here on orders. Screw your family. Who cares? No one cares. Best of luck to you. And if you don't like it, we're going to bust you down in rank and accuse you of BAH fraud and then probably kick you out of the military. The board also ordered the service to take other steps, including deleting all negative findings such as letters of reprimand or files stored in Army criminal databases. They were in criminal databases. Schenck, who is the person referenced up earlier as the case that originated this whole suit, is owed $56,000, remains infuriated that the board's action came only after a years-long legal battle and the threat of a federal lawsuit. No soldier should have to make the Army do the right thing, he said. The Army has left me to piece my career back together in the aftermath alone. So this is brutal. A related case that could underpin a class action suit involves Colonel Richard Gulley, who's now retired. He was ordered to repay $135,000 of housing allowance. This is crazy. How does the Army admin office go, hey, we're hemorrhaging money. We've been wasting a ton of money on garbage training and MWR parties and defending our COs in court when they sexually assault kids. So where can we make that money back, do you guys think? Do you think we should just take the pay away from the troops? Just stop paying the troops? What do you guys think about that? That's a great idea, sir. It's a great idea. If we stop paying the troops, we'll save a ton of money. They're already in the Army. Just stop paying them. They should just be lucky they're in the Army. Hua. All right, get it done. Gulley said that over 5 years, he was subjected to repeated investigations, harassment, and even arrest by Army criminal investigators while serving as U.S. Africa Command Deputy of Chief of Staff in 2017. Hey, because you know who makes the most BAH? The highest ranking people, so you might as well start there. Gulley's a commercial airline pilot. He was charged with fraud and larceny by the Army just before his 2017 retirement, but never was prosecuted. He said he still faces questioning over the issue every time he passes through customs as part of his job. Oh, my God. He and others involved in the cases against the Army say they repeatedly sought support from their representatives in Congress to investigate the matter, but they say action was never taken. In commenting on the board's ruling, Gulley recounted the ordeal the Army put him through as a result of the erroneous interpretation. It took 4.5 years to solve what any first-year law student could have understood correctly. I had to endure 4 investigations in 6 years, 3 arrests, CID harassment, assassination of my character, and multiple secondary legal consequences due to the Army's lack of leadership with regards to reserve travel regulations. You know what it was probably like? It was probably like some, captain over there in the S1 goes, hey, are we paying dual BAH to mobilize reservists? Yes, sir. That's the way that we do it. And why do we do it that way? Oh, because it's clearly stated in the regulation. Well, I'm going to have to fire you, Sergeant. I don't like that answer. Hey, does anybody have an alternative interpretation of the regulation? Sir, what's the interpretation you're looking for? Well, I don't think we should be paying dual BAH. I interpret it that way. All right, congratulations, Sergeant First Class. Sergeant First Class, I was just a private. No. We need to get you right up there to E7. You're my right-hand man. You got this. Horrible. That's one of the worst stories we've covered as far as the way that people get treated in the military in a long time. I mean, you're already a reservist. Right? So you're already getting screwed. You're already getting the short end of the stick. But now you're getting your pay stolen and getting arrested for it. Imagine that. It's like getting beat and then blamed for getting beat. So dumb. Some spice will clean you right out and back to health. Oh, yeah, for sure. Europe was such a shit show for my unit. We all accrued a $4K debt for food, but apparently that was too much, so they ended up giving us $650 back. Oh, that's great. I don't have to worry about that being active duty. I remember hearing about this story out of California, though. We had a soldier who literally stopped getting paid. That was a congressional and, of course, is PDMRA and massive fiasco. Fuel. You don't want to know how much fuel I help dish out just within my Cav squadron. Yeah, totally. The fuel number, the amount of money spent on gas would stop most people's hearts. I'd agree to stop paying them if afterwards they are guaranteed 100 acres of land and all expenses paid during service. I loved Hohenfels, to be honest. I don't know what that is. Of course, he gets to retire. Hohenfels. It's funny because it's dual BH. literally because they don't have on-post housing, and find them on-post housing, and then they wouldn't pay them double. Yeah, if they found them on-post housing, but then it sounds like this is all the people who they couldn't find on-post housing for, that they could not find on-post housing, and then they gave them the money, and then they said, hey, you're stealing this money that we gave you, that we said was the right thing to do, and so now we're going to send you to jail. So sad. So sad, and then the Army said, too bad. Eviana says, SMH. Yep, 100 acres plus mineral rights. I don't know. I haven't thought this through. So we haven't done, and it might be an early day today. We haven't done, it'll be good because I'm like holding in just a lot of coughing right now for you guys. So we've got an Army vet story here. I don't know if you guys know who this is, if you guys remember who this is. Army vet, we haven't done an obituary in a while. A veteran obituary, notable veterans who passed away. But here we have one right here. Why Army vet Ed Asner was a Hollywood legend. Did you guys know Ed Asner was in the Army? So Ed Asner died August 29th, 2021 at age 91. You guys know him. You guys know him from his acting credits. He has racked up 400 of them, 400 acting credits, and he was in the Army. He was born in Kansas City, Missouri in 1929 to immigrant parents. His mom was from Russia, his dad from Lithuania. He dropped out of high school and worked as a taxi driver on General Motors assembly line before he was drafted into the Army in 1951. Assigned to the Signal Corps, Asner discovered acting and appeared in plays that toured U.S. military bases in Europe. What a great job to have in the Army. After he left the Army, he founded his own theater company in Chicago and worked his way to Broadway. He made television appearances, and if you're paying attention, you'll see him in a brief, uncredited role in fellow Army vet Elvis Presley's 1962 boxing movie, Kid Galahad. He found most of his work on television, but made a few memorable movie appearances, including he was Santa in Elf, and he was Carl in Up. So you guys know him from, probably if you don't know him from anywhere else, you know him from Elf and Up. So unfortunately, he passed away this week. So shout out to Ed Asner, Hollywood legend and Army vet. It's been a while since we've done one of those. Do you guys know Ed Asner? Do you guys remember him from any particular roles he was in? Let's see. Ed was far, far left in politics. Who cares about that? We weren't allowed to use our government travel card the whole time I was in Europe. We had to pay out of pocket for all food during unit movements on top of the food they were supposed to be providing. Ed Asner was in Up and Elf. All refugee left Afghanistan, right? No. All refugees did not get out of Afghanistan. All Americans did not get out of Afghanistan. All American service members and the American mission in Afghanistan is over. There are still refugees and there are still Americans in Afghanistan. I hope that everyone's able to flee at least the most dangerous areas. He was also in Paw Patrol. I didn't know he was in Paw Patrol. Well, he's got 400 credits to his name. He was also in El Dorado, The Mary Tyler Moore Show, Gus, Roots, JFK, and, 400 other films. So he's a very accomplished, prolific actor. Oh, I feel better soon, Max. Miso soup with garlic helps me when I'm feeling under the weather. Thank you very much. I've been drinking tea. I've been drinking soup, trying to get over this just cough that I've got. I love Elf, MC says. I love Elf too. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? Classic. Let's see. He also did voices in the Boondocks. Oh, really? I did not know that. That's unexpected. I would not have guessed for that role. One more story today, guys. We are going to get out of here early today. I need to go anyway. I need to take some medicine or something. So we'll probably jump back on for some gaming after this. I'm going to try to blast through some more Xenomorphs. That game was whooping my ass yesterday. So we're going to try to get through that campaign, at least keep chipping away at it a little bit more as the week goes on here. But we've got one more story, a heartwarming story, a nice story, a good story for Justin. And that story is this. Navy veteran blinded by Afghanistan blast wins gold medal in Paralympic triathlon. So this is a good story right here. A former Navy lieutenant who lost his eyesight after stepping on an IED bomb in Afghanistan won a gold medal for Team USA in the Paralympic triathlon Saturday. Bradley Snyder, 37 years old of Baltimore, Maryland, was working as an EOD technician when he was wounded in September 2011. The blast cost him the sight in both of his eyes, blind. But the following year, he won 2 swimming gold medals at the London Paralympics. He added another 3 gold medals in the pool at the 2016 Games in Rio de Janeiro. I'm so much more inspired by the Paralympics than the regular Olympics, you guys. When you see people overcoming these obstacles, not letting them stop them when you easily could. You go, man, I'm blind. I have no legs. I have no limbs at all. What can I do? You know, it's over for me. These people said no. They became athletes. The Tokyo race at Odaiba Marine Park near the famous Rainbow Bridge was Snyder's first Paralympic triathlon, but he took the lead during the initial swim section and never gave it up. My life isn't all about winning. It's about challenges, he told Stars and Stripes after crossing the finish line, waving the American flag and hearing supporters chant, USA, USA. Oh, how great is that? Visually impaired triathletes ran, swam, and tandem biked with the aid of a sighted teammate. Snyder's guide was Greg Billington, an Olympic triathlete in Rio who once ran cross-country for Lakenheath High School on a U.S. Air Force base in England. Wow, that's so cool. After donning his gold medal, Snyder reflected on recent events in Afghanistan where 13 service members were killed in a suicide bombing at Kabul airport Thursday following the Taliban's takeover of the country, the article says. So he says, it's a difficult time for us right now, but I think that what I'm trying to do in this sport is try to just continue to stick to the mission and make progress. What's happening in the country is a tragic and sad situation, Snyder said. That's all you can do, is just keep going, make progress, and never give up. Just gain inches, right? Just gain a little bit of ground. I know what all my comrades were fighting for was liberty and democracy. Afghanistan has taken a step backward, but it is my hope that Afghans will one day experience a higher level of liberty and democracy. I remain optimistic, and I hope that my fellow service members do too. Snyder was one of several veterans in the Paralympic triathlons. Former Marine Captain Eric McIlvaney of Pittsburgh lost his right leg to an IED in 2011 while serving with 2nd Battalion, 4th Marines in Helmand. The country's situation was in his thoughts almost continually ahead of his race, he said after finishing in 6th place. McIlvaney filtered out those thoughts from his mind during the race, which included amputee athletes, but afterwards he was thinking about Marines who were in harm's way and their families, he said. So bravo Zulu to these American heroes who are out competing in the Paralympics, including Brad Snyder, who won the triathlon, and his partner, too, who ran a race with him, who put himself out there to do it, the whole thing again, has to keep up with this guy as he's, you know, swimming, running, and biking as hard as he can to represent in the Paralympics. The Paralympics are great. The Paralympics are really where it's at. So much better than the Olympics. If you ever thought that something was standing in your way, that there was an obstacle in your path, please look no further than the Paralympic athletes who won't take no for an answer and are competing for their nation's flag at the highest levels in worldwide competition, blind, missing limbs, suffering from all kinds of disabilities, whether they were born with it or they incurred some kind of injury in their life. They just never give up. And it's not about always winning. It's about always keeping moving, as Brad Snyder says, which I think is the real message there, right? It's not about winning every race. It's not about having victory after victory. Sometimes it's about loss after loss and just not giving up, which is what the Paralympics can teach us. And that's the lesson that I'm going to take away from that and that I want to leave you guys with today. So with all that being said, I appreciate you guys being here today. Sorry it's a little bit of a short episode, trying to recover my health here, which is on the right track, getting a little bit better every day. I'll be back in a little bit with some aliens if you guys are into that kind of thing. Blasting xenomorphs, Ripley's Believe It or Not. You guys know the deal. Part 4 today. So come watch me get my ass kicked and shredded up by alien warriors, and as I run through, try to figure out where these things came from in the first place. As always, links in the description down below on all the ways you can support the channel. I would encourage you guys to check out the join button down below to check out becoming a member, as well as Patreon, where if you become an elite patron for $10 a month, I will give you a free t-shirt on your second month. Thanks to everyone who's joined up recently, all the new patrons and members and people who've bought merch from the store. Until tomorrow, until next time, I hope you guys all have a great Monday, finishing up your Monday into your Tuesday. I will talk to you guys very soon, and that's the Scuttlebutt.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. At no point in your rambling, incoherent response were you even close to anything that could be considered a rational thought. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. I award you no points, and may God have mercy on your soul.